Far from the kids, the Norris family had finally arrived in Streamline City. I thought you said we were an hour away, Robin complained. Well, I didn't take traffic into account, Wilson retorted. Enough! Masson ordered. We need to look around for Axel and the others. Keep your eyes peeled for them, just in case. She was both peeved and exhausted when she said this. They drove slowly around the streets, looking for the missing member of their family. But as they neared the Fast Track building, they were stopped by a barricade blocking the road. Excuse me, Wilson called to a nearby female police officer standing in the road. We need to get through. Our son was one of the kids in that field trip. The officer shook her head. I'm sorry, sir, but for safety reasons, we have to keep people back until the missing kids have been found. We had another disappearance earlier this morning. The Norrises were taken aback by this news. Okay, are the rest of the kids from this trip nearby? Hey, we want to check in with our son's principal, Wilson requested. They should be at the hotel back that way, the officer replied. You can confirm your identities with the officer in charge over there. Thank you, ma'am, Wilson replied. As he reversed the car back down the street and made a U-turn at the last intersection towards the hotel. Another kid disappeared? Masson repeated. This is getting ridiculous. How are kids disappearing in broad daylight without anyone seeing them? Wilson exclaimed. That might not be as uncommon as people think, Robin replied. Not helping, Robin, Masson moaned. The car pulled into the parking lot, and they all fled out of the car. Masson and Wilson led the way as Robin followed behind with Emily in her arms. After confirming their identities with the police officer at the entrance, and they were soon allowed into the lobby. They found Principal McAllister sitting in a chair by the elevator. Miss McAllister? Masson called out. The principal stood up upon hearing Masson's voice. Mrs. Norris? Yes, she questioned. I told you can call me Madison. And Masson chuckled a little. We saw what happened on the news. Along with another one of the students going missing today. Who was it? Principal McAllister sighed. Caleb Larson. Masson's face gave a suspicious expression. That kid? The one who was picking on my son the other day? Masson questioned. The principal nodded. Yeah, he was by himself over in the front courtyard and just vanished, she added. Not even the security cameras picked up anything. They couldn't even find any footage of him being out there. Everyone was in silence for a moment before hearing something near the stairwell. Emily noticed it first and saw Chloe peeking out from behind the door trying to get their attention. Psst, over here, she hissed. Was finally getting everyone's attention. Chloe, what are you doing? Principal McAllister asked as they all entered the stairwell. Oh, trying to help, came another voice. Amanda and Ryan appeared from up the stairs and joined Chloe on the lower steps. What's she doing here? Robin grumbled. I wasn't expecting a warm welcome, you must know, Amanda sighed. That's enough, Wilson shouted. Chloe, what do you mean that you wanted to help? Chloe glanced at her friends and then back at the adults. We have a theory about what's going on, she said. Amanda quickly explained about the unusual pattern that she had noticed that morning, and how it could be linked to Axel taking the hovercraft to escape the building. So the one behind this is only targeting bullies? Robin asked. We think it might stem further than that, Ryan said. We learned more about the people who disappeared from the South District earlier, and it sort of confirmed Amanda's hunch. The 5 people who disappeared ranged from kids to teenagers, and they all have a background in not just bullying, but also vandalism, trespassing, and even theft. In other words, these are delinquents. So they're not just taking anyone, they're taking kids with records of behavioral problems, Wilson murmured. But that still leaves just one question. Why are they specifically taking kids? No adults have gone missing, Principal McAllister added. Robin suddenly pulled out her phone after feeling a vibration. Guys, it's the news channel, she said. And something just came up. Everyone crowded around her to see what happened. As the old saying goes, it's bound to get worse before it gets better. At 12:45 p.m., in the North District, an 8th disappearance has been reported. Local therapist and counselor Anthony Pierce has been reported missing after several residents noticed his home had been broken into, and he was nowhere to be found. Civilians in the surrounding area were questioned and asking if anyone had seen Mr. Pierce. Unfortunately, none had seen him. However, several eyewitnesses on the streets, a block from the crime scene, had confirmed that they had indeed seen the 4 kids that had fled the Fast Track Tech building in that strange hovering vehicle from yesterday. The footage cut to a man being interviewed. Yeah, I was just walking down the street when suddenly those kids just came sprinting the other way, and there were 3 older ones with them. They looked scared out of their minds. The footage cut back to the reporter. While the police are still looking for the kids, and there are unfortunately no leads as to where they are or where they are heading. Local law enforcement has also announced that due to the rise of these unexplained disappearances, a strict curfew will be put into effect immediately. All residents must be indoors by 8 p.m. and no later. As the report ended, there was silence yet again. So now they're kidnapping adults? Wilson exclaimed. No, that's not it, Robin said. If that guy was taken and Axel was right there, then they probably took him to find out where he is. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm positive that's what happened. Whoever it is they're trying to get to him by taking people around him. Then we need to find out who did. Then we need to find out who's behind this before something happens to my son, Madison demanded. I'm worried too, but there's not much we can do, Principal McAllister exclaimed. That's not necessarily true, Chloe began. Amanda, Ryan, and I have an idea. Granted, it's not really a good one, but it'll do. The adults all looked at each other, knowing that they didn't exactly have a lot of options at this point. The principal sighed. All right, what's your plan? And Wake up. Wake up. Come on, wake up. Up. Anthony groaned as he wearily opened his eyes. It was dark, and there was still enough light for him to see. He was on the cold floor of some kind of facility, and next to him was Austin Feldman. Hey, you're that kid that Axel told me about. A photo of you was on the news. Austin was confused. You know Axel? He asked. Yeah, we met earlier today. Long story short, I think we're about to be experimented on. Experimented on? Came another voice. From the core of the room was Caleb Larson, along with the rest of the missing kids. It's from the South District. As Anthony's eyesight fully adjusted, he could see that they were in a section of a room blocked by bars and a gate. What the heck is this place? He asked. The boss's place of business. Came another voice. Anthony stood up and found Jack and Ben on the other side of the bars. So Professor Reed has a second job that involves kidnapping people? Anthony snapped. I didn't take these people. Oh, they did. Came another voice. Professor Reed emerged from behind the nearby door and joined Jack and Ben. However, I'm not the one in charge here. I just passed the orders on to my staff. Anthony scowled. It didn't take a genius to know what he meant by that statement. Where is she? Anthony asked. At that moment, the sharp sound of heels was walking along the floor echoed through the room, and from the same door, Governor Laura Milton appeared, holding her foldable laptop in her arms. She and Anthony glared at each other for a few seconds. I knew there was something off about you, Anthony growled. What do you want from us? What do you want with us? The governor looked at Anthony in a rather uninterested way. From you, I want leverage. As for the kids, that's a different story, she answered. Austin fidgeted nervously and backed away from the bars. What do you mean by leverage? What do you mean by leverage? Anthony questioned suspiciously. The governor casually opened her laptop and pulled up the image of Axel. You see this boy? Based on what Austin's been able to tell me about him, he's quick to trust people and earn their trust in return. And you're apparently one of his new friends. Anthony's pupils will shrank. You lay one finger on that kid, and I swear to God, I will make you regret it, he roared. But the governor just laughed like, idiot. I'm not planning to hurt him. I just need to talk to him. I think he could really help me with what needs to be done around here. And what is that exactly? Anthony asked again. Yeah, and why do you need us? Us, Caleb called out. We just want to go home. The governor glared at the kids in a threatening way. Oh, I'm sure you're desperate to get back to your miserable life. Caleb gulped and pressed his back up against the wall. You'll see why you're here when the time comes. For now, I need to speak to Axel. And if these two morons can't bring him here, maybe you all being here will. He seems to be catching on pretty quickly. She closed her laptop and left the room. Professor Reed, Jack, and Ben followed close behind, and locking the door behind them. Anthony let out a sigh of defeat and as he rested his head against the metal bars. This is not good, he moaned. We gotta get out of here! Or a teenage girl cried. There's gotta be some way to open the gate, a boy added. Guys, my friends were talking about breaking into here and finding us. If they escape those two, then help is still on the way. We just gotta wait and hope that it does. As Anthony reassured. So our lives are in the hands of Axel Norris. We're doomed, Caleb announced. You know, that is exactly what made you a target in the first place. So I'd lose the attitude if I were you. Oh, Anthony demanded. On the back of his head, he was worried about the kids. Come on, you guys, you got this. It was late afternoon. The sun was slowly beginning to set as the exhausted kids arrived at the edge of the North District, and the city center was just ahead. The Fast Track Tech building loomed tall all over the skyscrapers. Axel felt very small compared to its dominating appearance. There it is. Fast Track Tech. We're almost there. We better figure out a way in before we get any closer, Patrick advised. He pulled out the blueprints and said he had gone from Anthony's house and laid them out on the ground. Okay, according to this, there are only a handful of entrances into the building. The public entrance, the loading dock, the fire escapes, and the maintenance tunnels. Well, he explained. Maintenance tunnels? Tunnels? Samantha repeated. Yeah, it looks like a network of underground tunnels that connect to different segments of the building. Most likely for underground power line repair and for transporting supplies to different divisions. What's that? Olive asked as she pointed to what looked like two lines moving up the building in a diagonal direction. I think it's some kind of conveyor belt system for moving materials. Whatever it's used for, or it leads to an elevator that goes up to the rooftop botanical gardens, Patrick observed. Looks like the tunnels seem to be our best option at this point, especially if we want to get in unnoticed. There's gotta be some kind of stairway that leads to the first floor, Jacob said. Look, there's one, Amy added. On the east end of the tunnels here, right underneath the lobby. There's bound to be some guards or someone else guarding the way into the tunnels. We'll need to be careful. Oh, Samantha didn't notice that Axel wasn't saying anything. It almost looked like he was even paying attention. Axel? You okay? She asked. Axel just looked at Samantha and suddenly walked around the building and leaned against the wall. I think I know what this is about. Halt, Samantha whispered. She got up and followed her friend into where he was standing. Axel, what happened back there wasn't your fault. Well, she began. It was just extremely bad luck. You know we don't blame you for what happened, right? You should, Axel muttered, just loud enough for Samantha to hear. I should what? She asked, a little surprised. What you, Isaiah, and Olive should have been doing since yesterday. I got us into this mess all on my own. I could have just left it alone, but I didn't. And now our class is being targeted by some weird people, and I ended up getting someone who trusted me kidnapped. And for what? Axel shouting and got everyone else's attention, and they all hurried over to see what was wrong. I thought I was gonna prevent something bad from happening, but I ended up setting it into motion. Every time I try to do something right, I just make things worse. Axel, you know that's not true, Isaiah protested. It is true, Axel argued. That's why I can't be myself. Every time I do that, things go wrong. Or just make things harder for people. With a quiet sob, Axel hung his head down and stared at the ground. Can you just leave me be? I really just want to be alone right now. Please. His friends exchanged downcast expressions. They wanted to reassure Axel, but they could see that he had fully convinced himself that this was all his fault, and nothing they could say would convince him otherwise. So they silently respected his request. We'll be over here when you're feeling better, Samantha offered her genuinely. She hated seeing him like this. As much as there was a part of her that wanted to hug him until he felt better, she knew he needed space. After the others left him alone, Axel found himself with only his thoughts for company. As he sat by himself, he thought back to the proposed plan that Jake and Patrick had explained a few minutes earlier. Then an idea came to him. A few minutes went by and the others were getting more anxious. I hate to do this to him, but we got to get moving. Night's falling and we need to get a move on if we want to get back to the building before it gets dark, Isaiah said. The others agreed and went back to where Axel was standing to find him. Except he wasn't there. Axel? Axel? Samantha called out frantically. Then she noticed a message written on the murky window on the building. It said, I'm going to fix this. Oh no, Samantha whispered. What's going on? Where is he? Olive asked. Samantha slowly pointed at the fast track building in the distance. He must have left right after he turned our backs. Well, he couldn't have gone far. Come on, we gotta catch up with him before something happens, Jacob called out. And after gathering the blueprints, they all ran in the direction towards the building, worried about the safety of their friend.